fuck? The fuck are you doing here? I've been waiting for you. You've been waiting for me? Oh, fuck. Sorry, it's been a while. What's up, everyone? Pete the Guttural Monk here, and it is that time of year where everyone's opinion seems to spew onto your monitor because it is year-end list time. I figured I would join the fun this year. I haven't made a video in a while, so I wanted to share with you guys my top 10 releases of 2019. What a fucking awesome year for music. You'll see by my list that death metal totally dominated my ears this year, but honestly, I listened to a little bit of everything, spanning all genres across extreme music. Starting off at number 10 from California, this is Haunt with If Icarus Could Fly. Talk about an extremely young, prolific US heavy metal band. This is their second full length since 2017. Also in that time, they've released 2 EPs. They did 2 split appearances this year, and they have another full length scheduled for early 2020. The band doesn't quit. Fucking clean, well-written, well-executed heavy metal, super catchy hooks. The title track here, If Icarus Could Fly, I think is the strongest on this album. Haunt, If Icarus Could Fly, coming in at my number 10. Coming in at number 9, this is Sanguisugabogg. I'm going to call them Ogabogabogg for the time being. This is Pornographic Seizures, released on Maggot Stomp. This is 11 minutes of the most primitive, knuckle-dragging, beat-down death metal that you will hear all year. Maybe in your entire life, depending on how deep you dig into shit. Check out that fucking artwork and logo. Fucking love this stuff. Can't wait to hear what this band does in the future. I wasn't sold on the whole Maggot Stomp hype army before hearing this one. This album, or this EP I should say, made me a believer. Check this one out if you haven't done so already. It's 11 minutes. You can fucking afford it. Trust me. Sanguisugabogg, Ogabogabogg, Pornographic Seizures at number 9. Next up at number 8, had this album come out slightly earlier in the year, I have a feeling that this would have been much higher on my list, but what an amazing piece of musicianship. This is Obsequiae with The Palms of Sorrowed Kings, released back in November on 20 Bucks Spin. An absolutely incredible piece of black metal. The musicianship here is second to none. The guy Tanner deserves all the credit in the world. I think my man played like 7 or 8 different obscure instruments on this album. There's some guest spots. I think Jake Rogers from Visigoth and Kaladin Brood and Gallowbraid, he has a track on this album. One of the dudes from Brimstone Coven, I think, is on this album. Absolutely fantastic, well-written stuff. The easy tag here is castle metal, and honestly, as much as I agree with that, it doesn't give this band and this album justice. Obsequiae, this is their 3rd full-length, much awaited. I think the Aria of Vernal Tombs came out in 2015, so we've been waiting a long time for this one. Did not disappoint. In fact, this exceeded the already high expectations that I had for this album. Cannot say enough good things about this. Obsequiae, The Palms of Sorrowed Kings. Check that shit out, number 8. Next up, coming in at number 7, an album that I didn't see too many people talk about this year. This one comes out of Germany from Testimony Records. This is the brand new one from Carnal. This is Abhorrent Veneration. The digipack here was limited to 500 copies. This is straight up meat and potatoes death metal, but so unbelievably well written. This is their sophomore full length. This is about 3 years out from their debut, Rotten Remains, which was very good, but this is absolutely the best thing in their discography right now. The fucking songwriting is just twisted, and it's dark, and it flows well. Everything about this album, including that gorgeous cover art, is just fucking near flawless. Love this stuff. I know the digipack that was limited to 500 copies is officially sold out through Testimony Records, but no doubt they're gonna repress this one. This shit is fucking smoking hot. Carnal, Abhorrent Veneration, number 7. Next up at number 6, this one was released back in August on Relapse Records. Fucking blew me away. This is the new one from Devourment. This is Obscene Majesty. Easily the best straight up slam album of the year, without a doubt. The slams here are absolutely picture perfect, textbook. The production is amazing, to be completely honest with you. It didn't sit well with me at first, but it is so wide open and still so dense and claustrophobic. All the instruments have room to breathe. The vocals are sitting on top of everything. Everything sounds disgusting, but still very audible. Very happy with the sound of this album. Catchy as all hell. Amazing stuff. Devourment does not disappoint. Putting Ruben Rosas back on vocals was probably the best thing that this band could have done. If you haven't checked it out for one reason or another, definitely do so. This shit is totally worth your time. Devourment, Obscene Majesty, Relapse Records. Incredible stuff. Coming in at number 5, this is kind of a little bit of like, I don't know, I'm making up the rules here, but I'm counting both releases from UNDEATH as number 5. UNDEATH is from Rochester, New York. These guys are my death metal band to watch right now. Both of these were released, this one very early, this one about mid-year. So this is just Demo 19, Sentient Autolysis. Both are released via Caligari. Sentient Autolysis was released along with Severed Records as well. If you haven't checked these guys out and you're subscribed to this channel, like, I really don't know what the fuck you're waiting for. Easily the best new discovery that I had this year. Cannot wait to see what these guys do in the future. I have a feeling that their best material is still to come. You need to check these guys out. Just do yourself a favor. UNDEATH deserves your undivided attention moving forward. Check them out. UNDEATH is my number 5. Coming up at number 4, this is an album that I did not expect to have on my top 10 list at the beginning of the year. This is Blood Incantation. This is the hidden history of the human race. Dark Descent Records put this one out. As some of you know, I'm not the biggest fan of their earlier material, but I am a total convert and a believer in the message that Blood Incantation is delivering. I don't really need to say much about this one that I'm sure you guys don't already know. Just fucking wow. Like I said, totally blew me away, exceeded all expectations, seems to be a theme on this list. Check it out, Bruce Pennington artwork, fucking excellent, excellent stuff. When you have artwork that cool, fucking lyrics that nerdy, music that's that great, plus a guest appearance from Anti Bowman, like, I'm fucking sold, man. Believe the hype on this one. Blood Incantation, Hidden History of the Human Race. Fucking incredible stuff. Coming in at number 3, I think this one is easily the most fun album on my list this year. It's about 30-something minutes of a straight-up brutal death metal party. Coming out of Italy, this is Fulci with Tropical Sun. This is out right now on Time to Kill Records. This is the Blood edition or something like that, all red jewel case. This is the second pressing of this one. A complete homage and dedication to Zombie 2. The fantastic samples guide and walk this album through such incredible flow. The title track, Tropical Sun, easily my most listened to song of the year. Like I said, this album is nothing but a fucking good time. Don't write it off just because it seems to be a little bit gimmicky. This is honestly what I consider a modern day classic when it comes to brutal death metal. This is an album people will be talking about for years to come. It is that fucking good. Check it out. It's out right now on Time to Kill Records. Fulci, Tropical Sun, my number 3 album of the year. Now for number 2, this band put out their first demo back in 2017. I listened to it, I enjoyed it. I had no idea that their debut full length was going to be this strong. I'm talking about Mortiferum. This is Disgorged from Psychotic Depths, out right now on Profound Lore. Holy shit. This is Death Doom done so well. Absolutely crushing stuff. If you haven't heard it for one reason or another, definitely make sure you do so. Incredibly well balanced. These guys pick up the pace when they need to. They slow it down when they need to. Really well written stuff. To me, I get early Crips vibes from it, which is never a bad thing. Mortiferum, Disgorged from Psychotic Depths. Check it out, they're my number 2. For my number 1 album of the year, I was hooked on these singles from the second the first one dropped. The lead up to this album had me anticipating every single note more and more. And before I actually say what it is, it needs to be spoken that 20 Buck Spin had such a fucking incredible 2019. I know that's not news to most of you guys, but they need to be addressed for the incredible output that they had this year. This album, I feel, rose above the rest. I could have included basically everything else that they released this year on my list, but I wanted to save my absolute favorite for the number 1 spot. I'm talking about Steeping Corporeal Mass from Fetid. This album was released back in June. I have not stopped listening to it. I will not stop listening to it. When we're talking about cavernous death metal, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. There could be too much of that monotone atmosphere. There could be almost too much groove. There could be too much wasted time and atmospherics. Fetid seems to have nailed everything in perfect harmony and balance on this album for me. The songwriting is just, it's literally disgusting. This album fucking smells. It's so fucking disgusting. I love it. I've listened to it more times than I can possibly tell you. Absolutely the best death metal release that I feel I have heard this year. Cannot say enough good things about this one. Check it out if you haven't done so, but I'm sure most of you already have. Fetid, my #1 album of the year. As always, I have some reissues, because reissues are extremely important. Number 3, Sorcery, Bloodchilling Tales, Swedish death metal, originally released in 1991. This jewel case release was limited to 500 copies. Get your hands on it. This is some really, really obscure stuff that was basically impossible to find before this year. It was reissued a couple of years back, but again, these things just become obscure and impossible to find really, really quickly. Sorcery, Bloodchilling Tales, my number 3. Number 2 is a classic album that should not be this hard to come across, but it took until 2019 for a decent CD reissue to hit my shelf. This is Obituary with Slowly We Rot. I don't need to say much about this album. I'm sure you guys know enough about it. This is the classic Obituary shit. Their first full length, their debut album, Slowly We Rot, Obituary, coming in at my number 2. My reissue of the year has been probably the most sought after death metal album of mine for the past couple years. I almost bought a bootleg more times than I'm proud to admit, and I almost pulled the trigger on an original copy for an obscene amount of money, probably 6 or 7 times what I paid for this reissue, more times than I'd like to admit. I'm glad I didn't. I'd still love to own an original one day, but for right now, Excruciate, Passage of Life, Dark Symphonies, Dark Descent reissue, this is going to have to do. I posted this one on my Instagram the other day with the caption of something along the tune of, "This is one of the best death metal albums that most above average death metal fans have never heard of." I stand by that. Swedish death metal, totally fucking brutal stuff. Absolutely love this album. Excruciate, Passage of Life, Dark Symphonies, Dark Descent records, awesome. Real quick before I go, I'd like to just say 4 or 5 bands that I hope come out with new material in 2020. I would love to see new stuff from Cruciamentum, Funebrarum, Blood Ceremony, Putresect, and most importantly, Dead Congregation. Those 5 bands, you guys release something next year, I'm a fucking happy guy. That's all I've got for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button. I can't promise that there's any other videos coming anytime soon, but if you want to stay current with my channel, subscribing is the best way to do so. I also want to shout out a couple YouTubers that in the past year and a half, I've interacted with these guys at least once a week or so. I consider them all friends, and they all have great varying degrees of active channels right now on YouTube. But Ben, Brain Smasher, you're the fucking man. Ground Zero Salem, you're the fucking man. Brandon, Scourge of Vinyl, you're the fucking man. And Eric Bauer, High Defamation, you're the fucking man. Thank you guys so much for staying in contact with me, making sure everything was cool. This video essentially is for you 4 guys. So thank you. That's all I got. Check me out on Instagram. Title on Instagram is literally just The Guttural Monk. I share a lot more stuff there than I do here on YouTube. You can at least stay current with some more collection updates and just random thoughts and opinions throughout the year. That's all I got, guys. Hope you appreciated my list. Let me know what you think down below. See you later. Cheers. Mortiferum, Disgorged from the